bà lấy dương mình to bồ miền sen chết bẹp pon nâng phiệp trên nét được nằm bình mà đón dương khơi tham miên một chiếc mình đôi xã bọt bát cá Campuchia Japan xã ca cho bùi nâng một chiếc mình đôi HEDC គឺដើម្បីធ្វើយ៉ាងណាបណ្ដុះបណ្ដាលភាពជាអ្នកដឹកនាំសម្រាប់ស្ថាប័នរដ្ឋស្ថាប័នឯកជនដើម្បីធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យមានប្រសិទ្ធភាពក្នុងការប្រកួតប្រជែងនៅក្នុងវិស័យការងារនៅក្នុងឱកាសនោះគឺមានការចុះអនុសារណៈយោគយល់គ្នាជាមួយនឹងមជ្ឈមណ្ឌល HEDC អន្តរជាតិជាមួយនឹងមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលសហប្រតិបត្តិការកម្ពុជាជប៉ុនដើម្បីបង្កើនកិច្ចការផ្សេងៗក្នុងការអប់រំក៏ដូចជាលើកគុណភាពសមត្ថភាពរបស់បុគ្គលិកនៅស្ថាប័នរដ្ឋនិងឯកជនឲ្យមានភាពជាអ្នកដឹកនាំក្នុងការទទួលបានផលិតកម្មល្អនោះបាទលោកស្រីម៉ែនបុប្ផាគឺជានាយិកា HEDC បានមានប្រសាសន៍ថាការបណ្ដុះបណ្ដាលបុគ្គលិកឲ្យមានភាពជាអ្នកដឹកនាំពិតជាមានសារៈសំខាន់ណាស់ព្រោះថាអាចជំរុញការងារនោះឲ្យកាន់តែល្អប្រសើរពីព្រោះបុគ្គលិកម្នាក់នៅពេលដែលមានភាពជាអ្នកដឹកនាំគឺការងារផ្សេងៗនឹងអាចទៅរលូនដោយគ្មានការរាំងស្ទះនោះទេហើយស្ថាប័នរដ្ឋក៏ដូចជាស្ថាប័នឯកជនផ្សេងៗគួរតែមានការបណ្ដុះបណ្ដាលបុគ្គលិករបស់ខ្លួនឲ្យមានភាពទទួលខុសត្រូវក៏ដូចជាមានសមត្ថភាពល្អក្នុងការងាររបស់ខ្លួនបាទជាបន្តយើងស្ដាប់សម្ដីរបស់លោកស្រីបែនបុប្ផានាយិការបស់អង្គការ HEDC ដោយតទៅបាទ
ហើយដែលគម្រោងនេះគឺយើងផ្ដល់នៅការដឹកនាំបែបអនុវត្តជាក់ស្ដែងបែបផ្លាស់ប្ដូរទម្រង់ហើយយើងផ្ដល់នៅបច្ចេកទេសនៅក្នុងការដឹកនាំប្រកបដោយប្រសិទ្ធភាពយើងណែនាំនៅការដឹកនាំការគ្រប់គ្រងបែបជប៉ុនហើយនឹងបែបផ្សេងៗទៀតផងដែរបូកផ្សំជាមួយនឹងការដឹកនាំឈរទៅលើគោលការណ៍នៅក្នុងការគោរពនៅច្បាប់ធម្មជាតិហើយយើងទាំងពីរនាក់ចូលរួមនៅក្នុងការដោះស្រាយនៅអ្វីដែលជាការព្រួយបារម្ភមួយចំនួនពីសំណាក់ស្ថាប័នរដ្ឋក្រុមហ៊ុនឯកជនអង្គការមិនមែនរដ្ឋាភិបាលផងដែរពីព្រោះយើងឃើញថាឥឡូវនេះប្រទេសកម្ពុជារបស់យើងកំពុងតែមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរយ៉ាងលឿនហើយព័ត៌មានយើងមានច្រើនណាស់ព័ត៌មានយើងមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរស្ទើរតែរៀងរាល់ម៉ោងដូច្នេះនៅពេលដែលព័ត៌មានយើងទទួលបានច្រើនយើងក៏ពិបាកនៅក្នុងការធ្វើការសម្រេចចិត្តដែរហើយស្ថាប័នទាំងអស់ទាំងស្ថាប័នរដ្ឋទាំងក្រុមហ៊ុនឯកជននិងអង្គការមិនមែនរដ្ឋាភិបាលអាចទទួលយកបានអាចរកបានព័ត៌មានទាំងអស់នោះដូច្នេះហើយដើម្បីឲ្យស្ថាប័នទាំងអស់នឹងឈានមុខគេដើម្បីឲ្យគាត់អាចប្រកួតប្រជែងនៅលើទីផ្សារបានជាពិសេសត្រៀមលក្ខណៈសម្រាប់សមាហរណកម្មសេដ្ឋកិច្ចអាស៊ាន2015គាត់ត្រូវតែផ្ដោតទៅលើសំខាន់គឺគុណភាពហើយនិងសុចរិតភាពរបស់បុគ្គលិក
បាទនេះគឺជាការជំរុញឲ្យបុគ្គលិករបស់ខ្លួនកាន់តែមានសមត្ថភាពបន្ថែមទៀតដើម្បីធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យស្ថាប័នរបស់ខ្លួនកាន់តែមានការអភិវឌ្ឍបាទយើងបញ្ចប់ព័ត៌មាននឹងតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងចុះយើងបន្តព័ត៌មាន
building capacity or training is about communication between two groups of people. And people say, okay, this group of people, so this must the VIP or participant. We call our participant VIP, very important person. All humans are going to be successful. They already have the knowledge inside. What training you is to build this life. Let it play out again. Because sometimes in our life, you know, we go to primary school, high school, and we go to work and we play very deep. Very deep. So the purpose of the training is to uncover the hidden talent they already have. HEDC is Human Earth Development Center, not Human and Earth Development Center, but Human Earth. We believe our focus on developing humans without focusing on the environment of the Earth has caused a problem. So, to be part of the solution, we are promoting the idea that community development is about building the community, which is for human, but also the Earth together. We cannot separate it. So, welcome to our transformational leadership for institutional success and sustainability. This is very important because as a leader, we don't want just our organization or our company to grow. We want to continue to create. Information and technology are readily available to everyone. You know, with internet and Google, something like that, it's so easy to get information. And the ability of company and institutions to compete and succeed in the global environment will depend not so much on the technical skill, but on the quality and integrity of the people that work. And that's very important. It doesn't matter whether you are an NGO, whether you are a business, companies, or a government organization. The success, sustainability depend on the people, the quality, and the integrity. We are living in the time of change. And every time we have change, not only we have a lot of opportunity, but we also have pain. It's not possible for us to have change without pain. If you don't believe me, ask the married man. Any married man will tell you. When they change, there is pain. And that pain is often misunderstood. That pain is important. Tremendously. We are going to the moon. We'll come back. Now we're thinking of going to Mars. And technicals like robotic and things like that are just mind-blowing. I cannot imagine some of the things they produce. And sometimes I wonder, and I am amazed that these are created by a human mind. We have break the genetic code of living things. Now we can create through genetic engineering. We can manipulate. We can create fish. Sometimes 4 times the size of what we find in the natural world. We can have potato with the protein content of meat. Now most of them, they say I don't know what it is, but they say up to 75% that fruit and vegetable eaten in the Western country, in the developed country, are genetically modified. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm not expert in this, right? But what I'm saying, it is already here. We have great advances in health science, in medical science. A long time ago, we said it's impossible. If you lost a finger, you lost a nose, you lost an ear, we cannot replace it. Other animals that such and so can do it, but human difficult. But now we can. This boy here, born with a deformed ear. Now the doctor created something in the skin, and then when it grows up, transplanted the boy's ear to make it almost like the natural ear. So we're now living healthier, we're living longer. But because of that, we also increase our population much more. So between the birth of humanity, about 100,000 years, Actually, that's 100,000 years ago. And the year 2003, which is about 11 years ago, we created 5 exabytes of information. 1 exabyte is actually 1 trillion megabyte of information. That's in that 100,000 years. But now, every year we produce 5 exabytes and then accelerate. The problem is, information is like salt, you know. Without salt, the food doesn't taste good. But you add more and more salt, it tastes better. But there is a point where there's too much salt. So now we have this kind of situation where we have so much information and we don't know what to do with it. Some of us don't know what to do. And it created paralysis. It makes us difficult to make decisions. So what needed is in education, for example, in school, not to give children information, but tell them how to use it properly and how to make decisions from. And I think education has to change. Giving information about the day, you know, when Mormon was born, when Mormon died, is irrelevant, right? So let's look at the dark side, the pain. The significant challenges that we face together here tonight is population explosion, conflict, crime, ecological crisis, and poverty. These are all increasing. Population explosion is the cause of many of our problems. In 1900, there is 1.6 billion. But by the time of 2014, there are 72.2 billion. It is interesting because sometimes statistics doesn't hit us, right? What happened is I wrote this book, you know, in the year 2004, I started putting on paper, and I wrote there are 6 billion people. By the time 2010, when I reviewed it, I had to change all that, and I put 6.8 billion. And then by the time I finished it in 2012, I had to change all, become 7 billion, and now it's 7.2 billion. And that is the greatest challenge that we have. How can we live in this over-increasing population and still become successful? And the result is, of course, with population increase, also unemployment. There's not a limited job around. So the skill of young people now is not to get jobs, but to create jobs. That's a limited, that's what we do. And for young people, especially, we know that right now 17.5% of Cambodian youth are unemployed. This is not including the young people who work in the farm, with shop, with parents. We don't consider that employed. And if you see this graph, the employment among youth is increasing very, very fast. So there is a lot of hopelessness, and with hopelessness there is a lot of drug taking, and with a lot of drug taking there is a lot of crime and suicide. Crime is not decreasing in the world, but it's increasing. So there is a very distinct correlation between corruption and all the other crime, like illegal logging, like child trafficking, drug trade, and so on. This is the job of the leader to overcome it. And then with increasing population, people tend to become stressed. And when people stress, they tend to be aggressive and tend to enter into conflict. So social unrest is increasing. If you look at the chart here, this is the food price value fluctuation, and this is the number of news in paper, television about conflict, about social unrest. You see there's a correlation between as food price increases and also conflict increases. Sometimes they disguise as a political conflict, sometimes financial conflict, economic conflict, but at the root of that is dissatisfaction and fear. People tend to become afraid. When people become afraid, they become angry. So another, to me, one of the biggest problems was economic growth. And because of our ecological crisis, the climate, the temperature of the earth is increasing. This affected the poor people more than the richer country because we can have a condition here. But with the poor farmer try to grow rice, they no longer can predict when the rain will come, when they will stop. Sometimes they start and they stop. And then when they come, it comes in terms of flood, destroy the earth. So, I call it the unnatural disaster because it is created mainly by the human. So the number of this, it affects all of us. It affects businesses. In year 2010, I was asked to conduct training in Thailand, right? A series of training. It had to be postponed 3 months because Bangkok was flooded for 3 months. Imagine the poor seller, food seller in the street. But not only that, big company, car manufacturing company, had to be closed down. And now investment dropped because nobody likes to invest money in places that are not predictable. So this is affected all of us. So as you see, the natural disaster, or natural disaster, we call it, increasing since 1950. At the same time, when the population of the world is keep increasing. The result of all this is problems, whether it is corruption, whether it is natural disaster or conflict, it causes harm. Now, this is Cambodia is slightly localized. We still influenced by the climate change, as I have explained to you before. But located for one country was taken and put in the other side. So globalization affected all of us. I think one of the more pressing issue now is Asian integration that's supposed to happen next. One is that now people move into directions sometimes they don't know what to do. They move it, but without skill, without motivation. So a leader must empower them. Empowering them is by motivating them, plus by building their technical skill, their ability, and also by building their capacity. Honesty, integrity, persistence, and so on. Number 5 is now they have a capacity that if people work together, doesn't matter where, they will become. As I mean, married people. It doesn't mean they don't love each other, but they will have conflict, they will disagree. It's very common. So you have to be able to manage before it happens. And then if you manage properly, there still be conflicts when you resolve them. Then one thing that not many leaders put in there is the recent courses put in there. A leader must be able, in this modern age, in this 21st century, every leader must be able to nurture and protect. This is something that is negotiable because the situation is so bad. The world is flat. And in the world left, of course, companies and institutions will not function. So, this is the schematic of our HEDC training course of leadership. So this is the skill that they must be able to encourage themselves. They must be able to transform people. And this is the technical skill. Participatory training together, communication and facilitation skill, and human development, or you can say community development in HR. And then they must be able to solve a problem, by doing critical thinking and so on. And then they must be able to resolve conflict. So transformational leadership is that part, but this is only this is the practical, this is the kind of conceptual, this is the practical. I've been in development work for many years, to be exact, more than 20 years, and we talk a lot about sustainability. And when we talk about sustainability, about projects and things like that, we always talk about the money, you know. Where the money going to come from after you, after JICA and God, or say the US guy you go? Where's the advisor going to come from? And so that's why most projects are not sustainable. That's it. I've been working in development for a long time. It's difficult to count how many, I cannot count, you know, in one hand how many sustainable. So then I go home and I learn from my mistake, and I realized that the only way we can sustain growth and sustain a project, growth or community is by continuous transformation. And those who transform is the leader. So my background is in fisheries and animals, so the growth of animals is no different than the growth of any living system. It goes something like that. Positive growth first, very fast, and then neutral. They stop growing, and then they die. And then they die eventually if nothing happens. So Cambodia is safe, you know. One is that now people move into direction sometimes they don't know what to do. They move it, but without skill, without motivation. So a leader must empower. Empowering them is by motivating them, plus by building their technical skill, their ability, and also by building their capacity, honesty, integrity, persistence, and so on. Number 5 is now they have the capacity that if people work together, doesn't matter where, they will become. As I mean, married to me. You know, it doesn't mean they don't love each other, but they will have conflict, they will disagree. It's very common. So you have to be able to manage before it happens. And then if you manage properly, there still be conflicts when you resolve them. Then one thing that not many leaders put in there is the recent courses put in there. A leader must be able, in this modern age, in this 21st century, every leader must be able to nurture and protect. This is something that is negotiable because the situation is so bad that if you don't get it now, the world will collapse. And if the world collapses, because companies and institutions will not function. So, this is the schematic of our HEDC training course of leadership. So this is the skill that they must be able to encourage themselves, they must be able to transform people, and this is the technical skill, participatory planning together, communication and facilitation skill, and human development, or you can say community development in HR, and then they must be able to solve a problem, by doing creative thinking and so on. And then it must be able to resolve conflict. So transformational leadership is that part, but this is only this is the practical, this is the kind of conceptual, this is the practical. I've been in development work for many years. To be exact, more than 20 years, and we talk a lot about sustainability. And when we talk about sustainability, about projects and things like that, we always talk about the money, you know. Where the money going to come from after you, after JICA and God, or say the US guy you go? Where's the advisor going to come from? And so that's why most projects are not sustainable. That's it. I've been working in development for a long time. Difficult to count how many, I cannot count, you know, in one hand, how many sustainable. So then I go home and I learn from my mistake, and I realized that the only way we can sustain growth and sustain a project, growth or community is by continuous transformation. And those who transform is needed. So my background is in fisheries and animals, so the growth of animals is no different than the growth of any living system. It goes something like that. Positive growth first, very fast, and then neutral. They stop growing, and then they decline. And then they die eventually if nothing happens. So Cambodia is same, information. So every time we move, we transform from this to this. And that's the role of a leader, to watch and continue transforming the organization to a higher and higher level. Transformation is different than growth. Yeah? So this caterpillar is growing, from egg it eats a lot of leaf and starts growing until it cannot grow anymore. And then it's in a cocoon, and then suddenly it transforms inside into a beautiful animal, the butterfly. You can see that this and this are totally different. Growth is just getting bigger and bigger. Transformation means everything changes. Everything changes. Right? And one example I use in my training is the Lord Buddha, where he transformed from ordinary human into a higher being, enlightened being. And if you look at nation, for example, you can use Singapore as an example. In 1966, everything changed. Health, education, economics, relationship between people, law and order, everything changed. And that's what we want. We should not be satisfied as leaders. We must not be satisfied only to grow bigger, to make more profit. We want to transform our organization. We want to transform our nation to be much better. In everything, not only the biggest single factor of success. If you look at Honda Corporation, if they continue just selling motorcycle and car in Japan, they will not be as powerful as this time. It is because now they expand. They have planned everything. It should provide training also in the provinces. So expansion, but before we can do expansion, there is one condition that must be met. That we must be able to do this 1, 2, 3, 4 from. If you cannot do that, you cannot expand. With faith. But if you can continue to change, innovating, my favorite Cambodian proverb is this one. He said, plant a tree, take care of the roots. To develop people, nurture them. They don't say to develop people, teach some mathematics or physics and things. Nurture the character. And that's because that's the root. If the root is strong, the fruit will be good. So we turn the thing upside down. We said, okay, that's the root, obviously. And this is the thing. So everything else comes from this. If this is weak, then can you imagine teaching conflict management to an evil-minded person? It doesn't work, right? First, you have to change the mind to make them compatible. Then the other one will work. And same with communication. If you understand the need for relationship, so to transform the organization or the institution, we cannot just ask to it. We have to create leaders. Again, going to the sustainability of the organization, I believe also that sustainability comes when we can create critical number of leaders in our organization. When we have that, whether it's our children in our family, or whether it is in the community, or whether it's in our companies or project, that and they will continue. So like Ms. Mufa said, we do practice and we believe that. In the past, I was the director I was the founder, and then after that, I let Mr. Sokeng to take the leadership. And then now Mr. Sokeng and I, make Mr. Mufa as the leader. And then eventually Mr. Mufa will find somebody and he will step down. And that's how leadership goes. Otherwise, it will not be sustainable. So, finally, if you don't know how to swim, please don't teach other people to swim, because it will be dangerous, right? So, the question is, how well can you swim? And if you cannot swim, then because CJCC and HEDC have this program called Leadership and Safety. And maybe you can send your senior management staff, things like that. Mr. Paul will explain to you in more detail what these courses is about. But for me now, again, it is very nice to meet you again, and thank you very much for listening.
ជាតងជាមួយនឹងឆេកការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរក៏ប៉ុន្តែតាមបទពិសោធន៍អាក្រក់នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជានេះគឺថាការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរនេះធ្វើឲ្យខ្លាចឲ្យតែលើកសូត្រតែពីផ្លាស់ប្ដូរញ័រជំនុំពីព្រោះបើយើងត្រឡប់ទៅមើលទស្សវត្សឆ្នាំ70ឆ្នាំ70ដូរពីរាជានិយមមកសាធារណរដ្ឋម៉ែបាទឆ្នាំ75ដូរពីសាធារណរដ្ឋមកជាប្រទេសកម្ពុជាជាតតៃវាលវិធានមករៀនទៅតែបាទហើយបន្ទាប់ពីហ្នឹងមកគឺថាយើងចូលចង់លែងធានដូរជាពិសេសគឺថាអ្នកដឹកនាំចឹងហើយបានយើងឃើញអ្នកដឹកនាំនៅដដែលថាយើងខ្លាចការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរនេះគឺជាអ្វីមួយដែលជាការប្រឈមខ្លាំងជាងគេក្នុងការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរពីពួកខ្ញុំគិតថាការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរបើមិនជាគ្មានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរពីការដឹកនាំទៅគឺជាស្អីក៏រត់ចេញដែរអាហ្នឹងគឺទី1ទី2ចំណាប់អារម្មណ៍លើ slide ចុងក្រោយនេះដែលគ្រូ Christopher Lee ថាភារកិច្ចឬកាតព្វកិច្ចរបស់អ្នកដឹកនាំគឺត្រូវកសាងអ្នកដឹកនាំបន្តបាទក៏ប៉ុន្តែសម្រាប់កម្ពុជាយើងអត់ឃើញថាអាចមានអ្នកដឹកនាំណាដែលចង់និយាយថាដូចជាអស់ពីអ្នកដឹកនាំម្នាក់ទៅគឺអត់មានអ្នកដឹកនាំណាអាចទទួលបានទៀតបាទនេះគឺជាសំណួររបស់ខ្ញុំពីចំណុចនេះបងប្អូនបាទ
ដូរអ្នកដឹកនាំទៅដូចមិនមានអ្នកណាបន្តវេនតាមន័យរបស់បងណាអញ្ចឹងអ្វីដែលលោកពីភាសាគាត់មានភាសាថាសំខាន់ដោយសារតែហេតុផលហ្នឹងហើយទើបមានវត្តមានបងនៅទីនេះហ្នឹងចាអញ្ចឹងទៅយើងគិតថាចាប់ផ្ដើមពីខ្លួនយើងកុំទាន់អាចគិតពីរឿងផ្សេងចាប់ផ្ដើមពីយើងសិន
So the role of a leader is to innovate, to change, but by this I don't mean negative change. I mean always positive change.
អ្វីដែលជាតួនាទីរបស់អ្នកដឹកនាំគឺបង្កើតថ្មីមានន័យថាធ្វើឲ្យមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនមែនផ្លាស់ប្ដូរទៅអវិជ្ជមានទេយើងផ្លាស់ប្ដូរទៅរកភាពវិជ្ជមាន
I conduct training called How to Become Super Mom Super Dad.
ខ្ញុំបានផ្ដល់វគ្គបណ្ដុះបណ្ដាលមួយឈ្មោះរបៀបខ្លាយជាបេដាច្រើន
After the training, some parents come to me and said, now after the training I know I have to change.
បន្ទាប់ពីវគ្គបណ្ដុះបណ្ដាលនឹងចប់ទៅមានឪពុកម្ដាយមួយចំនួនគាត់មកជួបខ្ញុំហើយគាត់និយាយថាឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំដឹងថាខ្ញុំត្រូវតែផ្លាស់ប្ដូរ
I'm not talking about firing the director, the director change.
ខ្ញុំអត់និយាយអំពីការដែលប្រឈប់នយោបាយឬក៏អីទេប៉ុន្តែនយោបាយខ្លួនគាត់ត្រូវតែផ្លាស់ប្ដូរ
So if the parents start to change, the children also grow.
ដូច្នេះនៅពេលដែលឪពុកម្ដាយចាប់ផ្ដើមធ្វើការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរកូនក៏ដូរដែរអរគុណ
ខ្ញុំមានសំណួរពីរទី1គឺខ្ញុំពេចស្លាយមកដាក់ថាក្នុងនាមជា leader នេះ define meaning define meaning ប៉ុន្តែក្រេបមកខ្ញុំយល់ថា define meaning គឺចាប់បានមិនបាច់ហើយចំណុចទី2គឺកន្លែង universal law នៃ differentiation សម្រាប់
So let's talk about
គាត់ត្រូវដឹងថាអ្វីទៅគឺជាទស្សនវិស័យរបស់គាត់ត្រូវកំណត់អ្ អ្វីដែលជាទិសដៅដែលគាត់ត្រូវទៅ
In the during the emergency, during wartime, for example, the top general just decide and then everybody follow.
នៅក្នុងពេលសង្គ្រាមមេបញ្ជាការដែលគាត់កំពូលមេបញ្ជាការកំពូលគាត់ធ្វើការសម្រេចចិត្តថាតើត្រូវទៅណា
And usually the general is the most expert in this thing.
ហើយជាធម្មតាគាត់នឹងហើយគឺជាអ្នកជំនាញនៅក្នុងរឿងរ៉ាវហ្នឹង
And the survival of the nation depend on this.
ហើយភាពរស់រានមានជីវិតនៃជាតិសាសន៍មួយវាអាស្រ័យទៅលើភាពជាអ្នកដឹកនាំបែបហ្នឹង
But in the peacetime, it is about empowering people.
ប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុងពេលសន្តិភាពវិញគឺយើងត្រូវផ្ដោតទៅលើការពង្រឹងអំណាចមនុស្ស
So even the leader know very clearly they will bring people together. And then together they develop. Leader also put their input. So now we have vision and mission created by the people.
តែដូច្នេះហើយនៅពេលដែលយើងមានសន្តិភាពដល់ពេលខ្លះប្រធានមិនដឹងហើយអ្នកដឹកនាំក៏ដឹងតែគាត់ត្រូវធ្វើអីប៉ុន្តែគាត់ត្រូវតែលើកទឹកចិត្តឲ្យមានការចូលរួមហើយមានការចូលរួមហើយយើងទៅចេះពិភាក្សាយើងតម្រង់ទៅរកឲ្យអ្វីដែលជាទស្សនវិស័យអ្វីដែលជាទិសដៅដែលយើងចង់ទៅ
So because of that there is ownership and commitment.
ការធ្វើបែបហ្នឹងគឺធ្វើឲ្យមានភាពជាម្ចាស់ហើយមានការបដិញ្ញាចិត្តផងដែរ
And because of that there is no resistance. If change comes from the inside, there is no resistance.
ហើយដោយសារតែហេតុផលហ្នឹងហើយវាអត់មានអីជាការតបតល់មកវិញទេពីព្រោះមានការចូលរួមអញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរអត់មានអីត្រូវទៅកាត់ទេ
Talk about differentiation.
ហើយយើងទៅចេះពីភាពផ្សេងគ្នាវិញម្ដង
Bansan will talk about example. He will give example about Honda.
បានសានគាត់នឹងផ្ដល់ឧទាហរណ៍អំពីរថយន្ត Honda
If Honda only produce motorcycle, all motorcycle right now, they will not be as successful as it is.
អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាក្រុមហ៊ុន Honda គាត់បង្កើតផលិតតែម៉ូតូអញ្ចឹងពេលហ្នឹងឯងគាត់មិនទៅជោគជ័យដល់
They diversify, they have differentiation, you know. Even within motorcycle, there are many brands, many price range.
គាត់បានបង្កើតនៅផលិតផលផ្សេងទៀតជាច្រើនទោះបីជាម៉ូតូតែមួយប៉ុន្តែមានម៉ាកមានអីផ្សេងទៀតហើយបង្កើតផលិតផលអីផ្សេងទៀតច្រើន
So that's just an example of differentiation. But one important thing about differentiation is leader must not discriminate.
នោះគឺជាអ្វីដែលចង់បញ្ជាក់អំពីភាពផ្សេងគ្នាប៉ុន្តែចំណុចដែលសំខាន់នៅក្នុងភាពផ្សេងគ្នាមានន័យថាក្នុងនាមជាអ្នកដឹកនាំគឺមិនត្រូវរើសអើងនៅភាពផ្សេងគ្នានោះទេ
Remember, this is natural law. You cannot violate it.
បងប្អូនសូមចាំថាវាគឺជាច្បាប់ធម្មជាតិដូច្នេះយើងអាចបំពេញច្បាប់ធម្មជាតិនឹងបាន
When Mr. Pol Pot wanted to develop Cambodia, he said, I want everybody to be farmers.
នៅពេលដែលលោកប៉ុល ពតគាត់ចង់អភិវឌ្ឍប្រទេសកម្ពុជាគាត់បាននិយាយថាចង់ឲ្យប្រជាជនទាំងអស់ខ្លាយទៅជាកសិករ
3 years, 8 months, 20 days. That's all it takes.
3 ឆ្នាំ 8 ខែ 20 ថ្ងៃទាំងអស់នោះសមិទ្ធផលដែលយើងឃើញ
Cambodia almost collapsed.
ហើយយើងមើលប្រទេសកម្ពុជាគឺស្ទើរតែធ្លាក់ដល់បាត់ហើយ
There is no communist country that really practice communism actually successful.
ហើយយើងមើលនៅលើពិភពលោកមានប្រទេសណាដែលគាត់អនុវត្តរបបកុម្មុយនីសហើយគាត់ទទួលបានការជោគជ័យនោះទេ
How we practice in our organization, we have to respect people's idea, not just I know and you don't know, do as I say. We get as many people, and I think the success of great company is because they get feedback from all the team.
ហើយនៅក្នុងស្ថាប័នមួយផងដែរគឺយើងត្រូវចេះប្រមូលនៅអ្វីដែលជាភាពផ្សេងគ្នាគាត់មានគំនិតផ្សេងគ្នាប៉ុន្តែលើកទឹកចិត្តឲ្យគាត់មានបង្ហាញអ្វីដែលជាគំនិតរបស់គាត់ឬហើយយើងយកគំនិតរបស់គាត់ហ្នឹងមកប្រើសម្រាប់ឲ្យមានភាពរីកចម្រើនក្នុងស្ថាប័នយើង
That's not very efficient, but very effective.
វាមិនមានប្រសិទ្ធផលទេប៉ុន្តែវាមានប្រសិទ្ធភាព
Does that answer the question?
ឆ្លើយមកបងទេ
ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំចាប់តាមមានជំនួយទៀតតែដល់ទៅថ្ងៃណានៅពេលដែលយើងចាប់តាម work people ទៅយើងបញ្ហាគឺយើង brain loss តាមមួយ brain drain ពីស្ថាប័ននេះមានន័យថាចាប់តាមពី power ទៅហើយក៏អាចធ្វើបានបរិយាកាសពីស្ថាប័ននេះទៅ
សម្រាប់បងតាមចូលចិត្តធ្វើមិនទៅចាំបើសិនជាមានរឿងចាំតែពីយើងស្ទាត្រូវស្មើនឹងរបបកម្ពុជាសូមអធិស្ឋានតែខ្ញុំអត់ចាំរបបប៉ុន្តែគាត់និយាយបកស្រាយថា empower គឺស្មើនឹង motivation បូកនឹង capacity over capability.
So people leave. They believe anyway. They have family to look after.
ចឹងយើងឃើញថាបើសិនជាបុគ្គលិកយើងចាក់ចេញពីយើងព្រោះពេលខ្លះគាត់មានថាគ្រួសាររបស់គាត់ដែរគាត់ត្រូវចាក់ចេញ
However,